Hello. Just wanted to take a minute and talk to you. I started this channel, as I've said before. I don't know if it's your first time here, if you've seen it before, but I started this channel because I have seen what I consider in this world to be a lot of men out there that aren't what I would characterize to be strong men. Now, when I say strong men, I'm not talking about out there lifting weights and muscled up and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about men of character. I actually would classify them to be more of weak men of character that don't behave in the way and demonstrate characteristics that were laid out for me when I was growing up, what a man was supposed to be. Now, I will tell you, when I was growing up, I didn't always achieve those characteristics on my way up. But I was blessed enough to have people around me, men around me, that would let me know when I didn't. And I pushed back on some of those things at times, but they were there to model before me and to let me know when I was out of line. And there was a point where I decided I wanted to get in line with those because I wanted to be a man that I could be proud of and not be somebody that I was ashamed of being for that. And one of the things that I was shooting my bow earlier, and as I was doing that, it just kind of made me think, as I'm thinking about men, the character of men out there, the flexibility that men of character have to have. There's a thing in archery called the archer's paradox. And what that is, hopefully I don't bore you here, but I'll just give you a little brief on what it is. If you are shooting a bow, and not one of the modern ones that are all cut out and everything, but one of the original basic type of bows, it's a solid handle, and you have an arrow. And when that arrow comes up, if you were to look at it close, you will see that the point of the arrow is not pointing at the target when you pull it back, because you have a handle in front of it. What the archer's paradox is, that arrow, when it's released, has to bend around the bow in order to go and hit the target that you're aiming at. It's called the archer's paradox. If you can pull it up and look online, there's all kinds of things about it. There's a lot of data, all kinds of deep math about it. I don't go that deep into it. I've just learned to compensate for it and shoot the bow so my arrow goes where it wants. There's another thing involved with that is called FOC, front of center. It's where you put the weight on the front of that arrow so that when you release that arrow, the momentum that pushes it and the weight that is at the end will aid in bending that arrow around the handle of the bow so that it heads towards the mark you're aiming at and it hits its target. As men, we need to be able to flex and we need to be able to move. And when we are pushed, we need to have enough front of center within ourselves to move towards the target. Now, not all of us have that. If you are to pull up a slow motion video of an arrow headed towards the target, if you stand back and look at it with the naked eye, it looks like it flies straight and true. If you look at it in slow motion, you will see that thing is bending and wiggling and flexing all over the place. That's what men of character do. Forces will come against us. Obstacles will be in front of us that we have got to be able to adapt and go around. The other thing we have to have is we have to have enough weight within ourselves to keep ourselves on target and pulling what's behind us towards the target. We'll have forces in this life that push us. They will push us forward at rates that we may not want to go at, and there will be forces that try and push us side to side. But if we determine who we are and where we're headed, we'll end up on target. Now, if you don't have your front of center set and you shoot that arrow, you may end up way to the left, you may end up way to the right, you may go way over the mark, or you may fall short if you're not set up right. As men of character, we have constantly got to evaluate ourselves and look at ourselves and say, you know what? Am I set up? Am I setting myself up to hit the mark? And if you are not set up to hit the mark, and if you don't know how to get up and get set to hit the mark, reach out for help. I'm putting up these little videos because maybe there's some people that don't know it's okay to ask for help. Maybe there's some young men out there. Maybe there's some older men out there that feel like, you know what, it's weakness to ask for help. It's shameful to ask for help. You're wrong. You've been lied to. You've been set up with boundaries that are not realistic. Everybody needs some help. No man goes through this life and achieves everything he wants and achieves being the person that he wants to be, if it's going to be a positive role model, alone. We all have to have somebody to help us. We have to have somebody that can guide us and tell us where we need to be. Maybe you can find that in a role model at a school. Maybe you can find that in a role model and a good coach or a friend. There are a lot of churches have a lot of good, strong men's groups in there with strong leadership. You need to check them out and make sure that they're solid and good. But you have a lot of places that you can go and look. Maybe you need to get some books and read some books to help yourself. Maybe you have an uncle or a family friend, or there may be a mentor at your workplace that you can reach up to and look out to. But I would tell you, men of character need to strive to get on target. You know, when I'm setting up my bow, I will go to an archery shop and I will go to a person that specializes in that. I've been doing it long enough that I know a lot about it. And at this point in my life, I can do most of it myself. But you know what I did this year? Things just weren't going exactly where I wanted them to go. So I stopped in and I saw, oh man, that's what he does. He does archery all day long, every day. In about 5 minutes, he was able to help me out and help me to fine tune. Maybe you're out there and you're not completely off track. You're just not hitting the mark where you want to hit the mark. You know what? It's okay to go talk to another man and say, you know what? Help refine me. Help dial me in. Give me some accountability. Look over my shoulder, and when I go to release, take a look and see, am I doing something wrong? Are you seeing something in me that I'm not seeing? Are you seeing a flaw in my life? Are you seeing a flaw in my character that maybe I need to address? It's okay to do that. We all need to have people that we can talk to and get good feedback from. The other thing is too, you got to get the good feedback. It wouldn't have mattered at all and changed anything if I had spoke to the professional, he had given me his advice, and I turned around and went back and kept doing the same thing I was doing. I would have kept getting the same off the mark results. Sometimes we need to reach out for a little bit of help. And also, if you know you're not hitting the mark, be wise enough to know something needs to change. If you know that you're not hitting the targets you want in life and you've done everything you can, then make a change. Sometimes we're not hitting the targets in life and we know. I'm able to dial in quite a bit on my own because I already have enough knowledge, I have enough understanding, and I have enough knowledge about me to know, am I just being lazy? Am I being weak? Have I let my strength drop to the point that now I'm not able to hold that bow back and release it at the way I need to? And it's not because anything's wrong with the bow or anything's wrong with my setup. It's that I have gotten weak. My muscles, I've allowed them to break down. Sometimes we've allowed our character to break down. We've allowed ourselves to get lazy. We've allowed things to get inside of us, inside of our hearts, inside of our minds that don't need to be there. And they're pulling us off the mark of where we need to be. And what we need to do is we need to change that behavior and stop. I will tell you, I like the outdoors. Every year, my family can tell you, come, June, July, I start getting prepared for what's coming in October. For that's the seasons when I will be going outdoor. I start preparing myself months in advance for literally a 1.5 to 1 second event when I need to release that arrow and it needs to hit the mark that I'm aiming at. As men, we have to work on ourselves. We have to prepare ourselves. We have to constantly stay in shape, keep our eyes true, know what we're doing with practice and with repetition within our lives. We keep the bad stuff out. We bring the good stuff in, and we prepare so that when those events come, and those events may be that somebody loses their temper in front of you, and instead of reacting, now you have the character to keep your cool, to keep your calm. Maybe it's that you just go through day by day, and you are just a good person because you have built the character of a good person inside of you. And at the same time, if you're having trouble hitting that mark, go to the pro shop. Ask somebody to give you a hand. There's no shame in that. But I just wanted to take a minute and talk to you about that. If anything that I have said, if you find it good, maybe you just find it funny, whatever, I'd appreciate it if you would take a minute and drop me a comment, give me some feedback. If there's anything you would like me to talk about, any issues that men, young men, old men are dealing with, maybe you have something on your mind you would just like to put out there. Please feel free. If you would share this with somebody, and again, like I've said before, maybe you think it's something they should just laugh at. Maybe it's something you think could help them. I would appreciate that. But I'm just trying to put out a little bit of information for some men out there that may not have other men in their lives to give them some help along the way. And once again, I just want to thank you for your time. If you would, take a minute, like, subscribe, and I'll see you again in a few days. Thank you.